Hello everybody, my name is Manan. Welcome to my channel. This is the third episode of a series of videos I'm doing about mental health and the challenges that expats and people like me face abroad when they go there. In this episode, what I'm going to be talking about is comparison with others. This video will be divided into three parts. The first will be what do I mean when I say comparison with others and how really did it affect me. The second part would be why does this happen? Why do we compare ourselves with others? And the third would be on how to deal with it and how have I tried to deal with it so far in my life and how it had worked for me. So without much further ado, let's jump into the video. The way it works is that we find two common threads. So the first one is, what is the similarity between me and that person who am I comparing with? So for example, it could be simply the fact that they are also an expat, an immigrant who have moved from abroad. And the second thing is that they have something that I am aiming for. And when these two things are there, then it starts the vicious circle of comparison for me. Me going through all of the social media and everything that that person has put through. So I would go through the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everything, going through consuming everything. And the same process in the back of my mind, this little demon of comparison that would constantly be the voice of a critic that would constantly tell me that maybe if in my past, if I did something different, if I was 11 and if I, instead of playing video games, I learned computer programming, maybe I wouldn't be here, maybe I would be in a much better financial position, like that guy. Or maybe if I learned about diet and nutrition and health way before, then I could be much more strong like that guy that I'm aiming for. And this vicious circle would be so bad that it would last hours, it would last even days, where it's constantly going through your mind, circling and circling and circling so that you don't even know where you are. I call this the comparison attack, like a panic attack, but yeah, comparison. So the second part, why does this happen? And in the past year or so, I have been actively studying myself and my mind. And what I have learned about my mind, which is conversely true for all minds, is that our minds are comparison machines. These are highly sophisticated comparison machines that look through the world by comparing to everything. The fact that you can recognize red from blue is because both of these are different. And the fact that you can recognize a moving object from afar is simply because your mind is comparing the movement of the object with respect to the static background. Our minds are comparison machines. We have to differentiate. Otherwise, our mind cannot function. Mind always needs two objects, because unless there are two objects, there cannot be any comparison. Our minds are dissecting machines. Our minds dissect. If everything around us was uniform, if everything around us was plain, our minds will not be able to function. Third and finally, this is the point that really shook me when I realized it. And I affectionately call it the rat in a lab concept. Why? Because, hear me out. So, when we are comparing ourselves to others, then it's because we have some desires there, what we would like to achieve. So, I want to be rich, maybe I want to be famous, so I compare myself with that person. The thing is that all of these desires are external. They are not me. It's like I found some clothes lying around, a clown costume, I wore them, and now I think that I am a clown and I need to be a good clown and I need to become a clown just because I found these clothes lying around. Let me try to explain it with more examples. So imagine that instead of being born here and now, you were born in the 12th century Mongolia to a royal family. When you would grow up in that environment, who would you look up to? Obviously Genghis Khan, who was the leader of the Mongolians at that time. Imagine if you were born into a slave family in the early history of the United States. What would be the biggest thing that you would want? What would be your biggest desire? That would be to be free of this slavery, to have your own freedom. Let's just even forget history. Let's just even think about it right now. Imagine if you get sick, if you get a news that suffering from something incredibly terrible, maybe a terminal illness. Would you want to still be rich and famous, or would your only comparison be with the healthier, normal person? So what I'm trying to say is that our desires are so contingent on our environment and what we see around us that they are not us. They are really not us. It's really important to recognize that the desires that we put so much focus on, that we suffer so much for, are these really ours? Are these really us? Or are these simply because of the environment that we have around us? A rat in a lab can become conditioned to want anything, and so can you, because if you are sufficiently exposed to fame and money and these things are highlighted to you all the time, then you will want them. What difference does it make? Who are you really? If all our desires are external, if everything that we want to be is because of the conditioning and the environment and the messages that we go through, then who are we really, if not our desires? That is the question, my dear viewer, that I would leave you with. Take care of yourself. Thank you for watching, and I would like to repeat again, try not to be a cause of your own suffering. Take care and bye bye, and I will see you again.